You know, I watched your state, and we saw your state had a mess in 2000 and then kind of had a mess in 2016. You got a new governor fixed the system, and we watched Florida flawlessly with a lot of mail-in ballots, double, triple the population of some states we're talking about, 2 time zones. Basically, we could have called the race with complete confidence at 9 p.m. on election night. Here we are a week later, still counting ballots in a lot of these states. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, Florida's gotten good at 2 things. The one is dealing with hurricanes. We've had so many of them. And the other is at counting votes. And the problems we've had in recent years have been due to incompetent officials like down in Broward and Palm Beach County that the governor replaced. And you saw how that worked. And those are counties that went for Joe Biden, by the way. But the fundamental point you make is the right one. And that is this. At the core of our republic, its legitimacy comes from people's confidence in the elections. And right now, you've got half this country that has doubts about the veracity of this election. And that's why the process that exists in the law, there's a process in the law that exists after the election, before the results are certified. That process has to be allowed to move forward. Otherwise, we're going to have a result here that half the country will harbor significant doubts about. And that's bad for the country. That's why both sides should be welcoming having this process be open, transparent, and according to the rights afforded to both candidates by the law.
You know, you look at the margin, and the president nearly got, what, 10 million more votes than he had gotten in 2016. You look at the dramatic increase in Hispanic Americans voting for the president, African Americans voting for the president. We see the House of Representatives. I think we're around 15 new female House members. And it seems like the Republican Party that it's in ways that people never predicted are changing. And I'd give Donald Trump the credit. And that is, you know, people said, well, if he wanted to build a wall, that would hurt with Hispanic Americans. It hasn't. The president was able to increase that vote dramatically. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that by controlling borders, having, you know, a legal system, that allows Americans less competition for jobs and means that wages rise, which set record low unemployment for every demographic group in the country. Is this like the coastal elite Democratic Party versus a new Republican Party of working men and women?
Well, I think the future of the Republican Party is a multi-ethnic, multiracial working class party. And what I mean by working class party are normal, hardworking, everyday people that don't want to live in a city where there's no police department, where people rampage through the streets every time they're upset about something, where their kids are afraid that they're going to fail a college course because unless they agree with their crazy professor, where they're afraid to speak out on what they believe on some issue because they might get fired from their job, where they're going to be called a racist because they wear a MAGA hat or have a sticker on their car. And people recoil at all this and more. And I think one of the things that we also forget is these are people that work hard and they don't want their small businesses shut down. They take the pandemic seriously, but they have to make a living. And they're tired of seeing their jobs sent to another country and everyone telling them in both parties, well, that's just the way it works. Well, it's not working for them. And they don't like crazy people. And a lot of the elements that control the Democratic Party today are crazy. I'm not saying every Democrat is crazy, but I'm telling you that people who are crazy and have crazy ideas have an extraordinary amount of power and influence in that party. Well, I can tell you this, you know. Yeah. Well, I hear it's a good point. I don't know if Joe Biden, I wouldn't say Joe Biden's crazy, but I will tell you that in his administration, if there is one, it is going to have people on that cabinet that are out of their minds. To defund the police people, the Green New Deal people, the people that want to, do all kinds of things that undermine the vitality of this country's economy. The people that don't believe there should be any immigration laws. You talked about immigration. You know, that issue is important in Hispanic communities, but it is offensive to presume that just because you're an immigrant and you live in an immigrant community that you think we shouldn't have immigration laws. And I think that's the arrogance that comes from the far left that people rejected and voted for Donald Trump because of.